Hey everyone, it's Jamie from IndependenceStNola and Seasons in Ritual, and I'm here to talk about 2023, the year of the Chariot. Um, the Chariot card is the number 7 card in the major arcana in the Tarot, and the numbers 2023 add up to the number 7, and so that is why that we are calling this the year of the Chariot. I brought my Chariot card. This is the OG Chariot, if you will, from the Rider Waite. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. What's coming up here in March is a huge shift and almost a quickening, if you will. Mars is finally moving out of Gemini. Pluto's going to move into Aquarius. Saturn is moving into Pisces. And the moon schedule flips, which we'll go over that. That's not uncommon or unheard of, so but don't freak out. But I'll do a separate video on that as well. So we're going to actually start doing our intentions a little bit differently. So it's just there's so much that's going to be shifting in Aries, which is the right time because that is when we start our zodiac year. And also it's a fire sign, it's initiation, it's spring. So let's get in talking about this Chariot and what I see when I read this card. And hopefully what you see, you can see new things too. It's also important to know when you are reading cards or channeling, and it is important for you to listen to what's coming through for you. I'm going to throw these things out here. What resonates, please allow it to resonate. And if not, that's quite all right too. There's plenty of room for plenty of discussion. We are in this age of Aquarius. And so it is important to remember that Aquarius represents freedom, but she also represents the individual and then the community. So there's room for everyone. So we're going to start embodying that more too, especially with coming into March and starting out the zodiac year. And because also we're in this year of the Chariot. So where things maybe you thought were like taking too long or kind of slow, it's important to see that everything's going to start speeding up. It's going to start getting its own pace. So let's talk about the Chariot. As you can see, it is a person riding in a chariot. They have the black and white Sphinx pulling them. One of the things that I always say, and a lot of this, you guys, isn't like, oh, I made this up. A lot of this is just research in what I do, but there's also things that I see on the card that I interpret differently, as well as you should as well. We always say that you have to be centered and you need to be balanced in order for the chariot to move. What I love about this card, first and foremost, for me, this is one of the most intense cards in the major arcana. There is a lot going on in this card, and this idea that it is movement and it is swift movement. If you think of chariot races or an idea of a chariot and how strong you have to be in order to hold it, to keep it moving, and how focused you have to be in order for it to go, that is that energy of the chariot. But it's also important to know when the chariot card comes up, there's movement no matter what, and I say whether you're ready for it or not, not in a mean way or an awful way, but it's really important, especially this year. I mean, every year, but especially with this year, is to start paying attention to what's going on around you. And I'm not saying like, and I mean, yes, read the signs, but not in a scary end of days sort of way. Read the signs to see where things are changing in a positive way, in a positive light, where you feel more grounded, where maybe things don't bother you that used to bother you, or, there's a certain neighbor that you used to loathe, but now you guys kind of get it. So that's kind of that, to me, energy, that embodying that energy of the chariot. Also, what's important with the chariot is that you are going to move forward no matter what. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, so let's kind of talk about this card. So as we were saying, it is a person. I'd say unisex. We could think it's a masculine, but it also could be a feminine. It's just a unisex person. They're in the chariot. they hold a wand, they hold that staff, and I find that very interesting because to me that's reminiscent of the wand of the magician. And then they have the two Sphinx carriers that characters that are black and white. And to me, that is reminiscent of the high priestess when she's sitting in between the pillars of Joaquin and Boaz, those two pillars that she sits in between. One's also black and one's also white. And that's the mystic temple of Solomon. But here, you can see that as yin and yang. And they have to be balanced. If you look at their shoulder pads, if you will, you can see they've got moons on them, half moons, and like little faces looking up and laughing. And to me, again, that is an homage to the high priestess. As you can see here on his or their chest plate, it's green, right? To me, that symbolizes like grass or seaweed. And so you can see like the grass here, you can see the water here, you can see the wings here. And all of that is bringing in all these different elements, air, water, the yellow, of course, fire, that red is earth, grounding. And you can see like his head, I don't know, his curtains, if you will, are made of stars. And to me, that talks about just moving through the cosmos and moving through the galaxy and in being acutely aware that we're all connected. Even, even if you're not like pointing it out every day or thinking about it every day. It's really, like I said, one of the most beautiful cards and intense cards. I think his skirt or their skirt, I'm sorry, I keep saying his, their skirt looks like it's got hieroglyphics on it. Okay, because all this represents to me is knowledge. He's got a crown, they've got a crown of the star, right? Which is to me looks like the star card, which represents Aquarius. We're in this age of Aquarius, so that's really well. And you can see the village. We don't know if they're leaving the village. We don't know if they're representing the village. We just know that there's going to be movement, and we know that they have to be balanced, and they know they have to be focused. But also what's important to know that this is a solitary card. This isn't to say that you're going to be on your own, bye-bye. Bye, Crew World, I'm on my own. But it is to say that you have to get confidence and you have to get secure with yourself. And you have to have that courage to know that when you grab those reins and those sphinxes start running, that you're going in the right direction. Again, this to me, that homage to the magician, it's saying you have all the tools you need in order to get done what you need to get done. The stars up there represents that alchemy, that you don't have to know exactly the entire way. You just know you have to have faith in order to move you forward. And that faith right there, again, also represented by the depths of the water. Faith is represented by Jupiter, and Jupiter represents Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is the adventurer, right? And so this chariot is taking us on this new adventure. I also grabbed a few more chariot cards that I thought you guys might like to look at too, from different tarot decks. A lot of times this one is from the Mermaid Tarot. As you can see, it's a little mermaid. Her dolphins are pulling her forward. This one is from my Luna deck. And they look beautiful. See, he's got the wand as well. They've got the wand as well. And then most of the chariot cards do have like They're being pulled. But some of them do not. And this one here by Dame Darcy, and this is her Witchy Cat deck. You can see this dapper cat is in a train, and that is his chariot. And that's her, the Sphinx there is her homage to the original. And then this one is in the Antique Anatomy Tarot. And this is the number 7 card for that. You know, the number 7 is the number of the mystic. And the alchemist, you know, which I also think is highly represented here in this card, especially with the wand for the magician and all the stars. To me, that's part of the mystic. So it's important, everyone, as this year starts to ramp up, especially with in March, to know it's not necessarily an energy of feeling out of control, but it is an energy of knowing things are moving forward. And if you start to feel a little uneasy, it's really important to balance yourself. Just get back into balance. It's important to center yourself. It's important to check in with I say check in with your masculine and feminine sides, but at this point, they've got to start working together. And I'm going to do a video on that too. I know I said that a few videos ago, but I feel like this is the week we start banging all this stuff out because it is the right time. So it's important to make sure you're grounded. And if you need to get grounded, go for a walk. You know, my friend just sent me a video. She got 2 feet of snow, but she was walking with her puppies. And if you can go, you know, if the weather's nicer, go for a walk. It's really important. As you can see, this person is extremely in tune with nature, right? Like, look at the armor. As you can see, the moons in the faces, they're laughing at the sky. And with all the stars around them, right? No one looks worried in this card. They look determined and they look ready. So that is a good energy to tap into, just to be determined. You're going to get through this. To be determined that whatever shows up, you know you're going to be able to move through it. This guy / gal / thems is ready to go. You know, they're not waiting for permission. It's just go time. So it's now go time for all of us. Of course, however you read the Chariot, if you guys want to drop that in the comments below, I think that's what people usually say on these things. And again, if you'd like to get a tarot reading with me, you can always do that. I'll leave the information below, as well as the different information on these cards. I'm excited about this year of the Chariot. You know, and going on, we'll check back in and probably do more videos about the Chariot. And see how everyone's doing. I am going to post a video here really quickly about the moons and how they're going to be shifting. It's going to be great. So if you guys have been noticing, the moons there's a new moon directly right when we move into a new astrological season. And in Aries coming up, we have 2 new moons in Aries. So that's really big. As well as all those other planetary bodies hanging out in Aries right now. So there's a lot of movement. And I know Helen and I try to talk about it weekly, all the movements. We do our best. But just know there's a lot of movement. Even if in your life you're like, not that much is going on, it's important to get quiet and to start sensing things, because things are moving. Okay, my friends, I hope this video finds you all well. And until next time, we might have a new location. We might be recording from the phone. I don't know. Today we're recording from the Zoom, trying it out. We'll see. Again, if you have any questions, just reach out to me via Instagram, IndependenceStNola or Season Ritual, YouTube channel, or the websites. Okay, bye guys.